Welcome to Reading with Miss Taylor Said. Hello. Welcome to Reading with Miss Taylor Said. Hello. Hello. Welcome to Reading with Miss Taylor Said. Gotta fix my scarf. I hope y'all are having a great night. I am here. I am physically present. I feel significantly better than I did the other day. So I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to experience y'all. I'm happy to finish chapter 9 today. We are finishing chapter 9. We're doing it. We're finishing chapter 9 of Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents. We're doing it. We're finishing chapter 9. We're doing it. So it's going to happen tonight. I'm going to give it a few minutes to let some people get in here. Ooh, I got me some food from Bravo tonight, and I haven't eaten it yet. That is also going to be my motivation to get through chapter 9, because we got to finish chapter 9 tonight. Because, wow, it's time to finish this book. We've literally been reading this for years now. I started reading this book with y'all in 2021. I took a whole break in 2022, and here we are in 2023, and we still haven't finished this book. It's time to finish it. It's time for it to be done. Oh, I covered my head, and I feel so much better with my head covered. Like, this helps so much, but having my head actually covered, I feel great. I'm so happy to be home and not have to work tomorrow. Just a lot of things to be thankful for right now, and I'm very thankful to be here. I'm thankful that y'all are here. I'm going to give it one more moment. All right, Sarante's here now, so I can probably get started now. And I don't even have to see his name pop up to know that the one person that just tapped in on Facebook is Sarante, because he a real one. We live! I knew it was Sarante. I knew it. I be knowing. Anyway, welcome to Reading with Miss Taylor Said. My name is Taylor, also known as Miss Taylor Said, and I started this show back in November of 2020 in an effort to accomplish a few goals that I have. One of those goals being that I would like to get practice reading aloud in front of audiences. The things that I want to do with my life will include me reading teleprompters, cue cards, and scripts and things like that in front of people. And so I want to be able to read aloud in front of people without, and convey what I'm supposed to convey accurately. The next reason why I started this show was because I needed to get better at public speaking. Like, I feel like I'm a pretty good public speaker. I've been doing it since high school, quite literally. But I wanted to practice public speaking and engaging with an audience. And the quarantine and everything, it kind of just afforded everybody this opportunity to be on equal playing field to some degree and be able to use digital platforms to engage with audiences. So I'm appreciative of all y'all that are watching. And the last reason why I started this show is because I want to read the books that I own. I own a lot of books, and I want to read them. I have a nice little library over there in the corner or whatever, but I want to read them. So I started this show for all of those reasons, and this is Reading with Miss Taylor Said. Welcome in. We are finishing chapter 9 of Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents. We're finishing chapter 9 tonight, guys. Damn it. We're finishing chapter 9. So, for those who have not been watching, and I'm so sorry that the playbacks are not available on Instagram right now. Instagram is being real funky with me and not letting me post my lives. So, I have to figure something out. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I have to figure something out because I need my playbacks on there. And you know what? I'm going to spend the weekend figuring that out. No, I'm not. I'm going to be spending the weekend preparing for the major changes that are happening in my life on Sunday. JK, I will not be spending my weekend doing that. If I get to it tomorrow, I'll try tomorrow. If not, we're just going to figure it out slowly along the way. If you want to watch playbacks of the last few episodes, go to Facebook. Just type in Miss Taylor Said. It's all separated on Facebook because they wouldn't let me put all the words together. So it's Miss space Taylor space Said. And you can watch the playbacks of the episodes to catch up with us. But I will give you a brief little synop. So this chapter of Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents calls How It Feels to Live Free of Roles and Fantasies. And so we talked about like the different things that hold us back, but the ways that you can be free. You can be free to be human and imperfect. You have the freedom to have your genuine thoughts and feelings. You have freedom to suspend contact from emotionally immature family members. You have freedom to set limits and choose how much to give to emotionally immature parents. You have the freedom to have self-compassion. You have the freedom from excessive empathy, and you have freedom to take action on your own behalf. And on that last section, we were getting into Carissa's story. So it sounds like it's raining outside real heavy. Hold on, I want to see. Oh my gosh, it's coming down. It's raining real hard. That's wonderful. Okay. I have ADHD, y'all. I have ADHD and I get real distracted real easily. That was very much a squirrel moment. Don't mind me. Don't mind me. Just roll with me, okay? Just roll with me. That's why y'all like it here, okay? Anyway, I'm going to get into this book. Carissa's story. After finally seeing how her dominating father, Bob, had trained her to feel helpless and passive around authority figures, Carissa went to visit her parents, prepared to observe them, express herself, manage interactions, and work toward outcomes she wanted. She was amazed at how well the visit went. Thanks to some help from her husband, Alejandro, her father didn't manage to take the floor with his political rants and lectures about his pet peeves. As soon as her father began to warm to his subject, Alejandro suddenly started talking about a different topic, an unexpected turn of events that seemed to confuse Bob and derailed his conversation. Another time, as her family gathered on the deck for drinks, everyone took their seats in such a way that Bob was about to end up on one side of the deck facing everyone else on the other side, a perfect setup for activating his proclivity to lecture to a captive audience. Carissa saw it happening and took action. She later told me, in the past, I would have just thought, oh, I'm screwed, now I'm stuck. But this time I took charge. She slid her chair next to her dad to prevent him from becoming the center of attention. It worked, allowing conversation to flow around the group rather than everyone being subjected to a torrent from her father. Using the maturity awareness approach, Carissa had managed the interaction to achieve the outcome she wanted, equal participation. And again, this is from the section of freedom to take action on your own behalf. And that is, it's so easy for, it sounds self-explanatory, but it's very easy when you have emotionally immature parents to just kind of fall into the role of pleasing them and just trying to stop them from trying to manage or just kind of feed into them, and stop them from behaving in the way that they're behaving. But you grown. You can recognize what's about to happen because you know the patterns. The person that's emotionally immature, they're not expansive in their ways of how they do things. They fall into habits. They fall into patterns. You know the pattern. You know what they're going to do next. Manage it. Get like Carissa did. Sit right next to dad and be like, okay, dad, what's up? What you want to talk about? Yeah. Okay. The next section is called Freedom to Express Yourself. Expressing yourself with emotionally immature people is an important act of self-affirmation, one that implicitly stakes your claim to exist as an individual with your own feelings and thoughts. Remember, an important step in the maturity awareness approach is expressing yourself and then letting go. It's important to relinquish the belief that if your parents loved you, they'd understand you. As an independent adult, you can function without their understanding. You may not ever have that kind of relationship you've wanted with your parents, but you can make each interaction connection with them more satisfying for you. You can speak up politely when you feel like it and be different without offering excuses. By expressing yourself to your parents in this way, you can be authentic even in the absence of their understanding. The point of expressing your feelings is to be true to yourself, not to change your parents. And there's always a likelihood that they can still love you even if they don't get you at all. Be yourself. Be true to you. Be true to your feelings. I don't like when you do that, Mom. I'm not going to engage with you when you behave like this. It hurts my feelings when you behave in this way. That's what you're allowed to do. You're allowed to express yourself. You're allowed to speak up for yourself, because no one is going to advocate for you except for you. So when you're dealing with parents or people that are emotionally immature, it is your job to advocate for your well-being and for your emotional body. And if you are being triggered if you're being triggered over and over and over again, it is up to you to speak up for yourself and then make action. Sorante said, always got to be true, even when the parents don't want to hear it. Always got to be true. Always got to be authentic. That's the only way. That is the only way that you will be aligned with your highest self, is if you are always authentic, if you are always speaking your truth, if you are always aligning yourself and your actions and your decisions and all of those things with your truth. Be real. Okay. The next section is called Holly's story. Holly's father, Mel, was a barber who lived in a small southern town, and most of Holly's phone conversations with her father revolved around his community news. Holly, who held a high-level job as a federal investigator, had always longed for her father's recognition of her accomplishments. But when she brought up her job or other high points in her life, Mel seemed to have no idea how to respond to her. Instead, he often abruptly interrupted her to talk about something that had happened to him. Holly continued to tell him about her life because she wanted to connect with him more authentically, but his typical response was lack of interest. Time and again, Holly just let it go, telling herself that she should respect her father. Holly continued to tell him about her life because she wanted to connect with him more authentically, but his typical response was lack of interest. Time and again, Holly just let it go, telling herself that she should respect her father. When Holly was going through difficulties in her job, she called Mel for moral support. But when she was in the middle of telling him what a tough time she was having, he suddenly changed the subject and started talking about the renovation of the country courthouse. This time, Holly was prepared to handle the situation by using clear, intimate communication. Dad, she exclaimed, I'm going to talk about me some more. I'm going through a really hard time. I like to hear your news, but this time, can you just listen? I need to talk to you. Holly was pleasantly surprised to find that her father accepted her redirection and just listened. Being emotionally immature, Mel simply didn't have the sensitivity to know when not to change the topic. By speaking up, Holly made her needs clear and finally felt heard by her father. Closed mouths don't get fed. Closed mouths don't get fed. You have to speak up for yourself. You have to advocate for yourself. No one knows how you're feeling until you say your feelings. Crazy concept. Wild concept. People don't know how you're feeling unless you tell them how you're feeling. Isn't that wild? Like, wild fucking concept. Let's see what Sorante said. Never let them try. Okay. Never let them try and silence you. Your voice is powerful and you must use it, because if you don't, they'll always try and keep you quiet. Yes. Yes, indeed. Okay. Freedom to approach old relationships in new ways is the next section. Like Carissa and Holly, you can interact with your parents in new ways that shake up old patterns and keep the focus on the outcome you're seeking. But taking it one interaction at a time, you can experiment with setting aside any I have a yawn. Excuse me. I had to open at 8 o'clock this morning. Okay, let's try that again. By taking it one interaction at a time, you can experiment with setting aside any unrealistic desires for genuine emotional connection or support from your parents. You aren't denying your past. You're just accepting your parents as they are without expectations. Sometimes parents will respond to this kind of honesty and neutrality by relating in a more emotionally genuine way. Though it may seem paradoxical, they may open up more once you stop wanting them to change. When you seem strong and they sense that you no longer need their approval, they may be able to relax more. As you stop trying to win their attention, the emotional intensity ebbs to a point where they sometimes can tolerate more openness, because they're no longer terrified that your needs will trap them in unbearable levels of emotional intimacy. They may be able to respond to you as they would any other adult, with more reasonableness and courtesy. If you lift that expectation off of them. Oh no. Oh no. We're almost done. This is going to be a short episode, y'all, because the yawns have hit me and my blood sugar is low. I have not eaten today. So, don't look at me. Don't look at me. Don't look at me. All right? Okay? The catch is that this can only happen if you've truly relinquished the need for a deep relationship with them. And it may not happen even then. But if you can stay true to yourself, detach emotionally, and interact without expectations, you'll be less likely to trigger your parents' defenses against intimacy. And by giving your healing fantasy by giving up your feeling, about changing your parents, you let them be who they are. When they're no longer under pressure to change, they may be able to treat you differently. Or not. Your job is to be okay either way. Last section is called Freedom. Don't close your eyes. Freedom to not want anything from your parents. The most painful interactions with emotionally immature parents occur when their children need something from them, whether it's attention, love, or communication. Many neglected children continue to seek some kind of positive emotional regard from their parents well into adulthood, even though their parents aren't the giving type. Emotionally immature parents commonly promote the myth that parents are the only source of their children's well-being and self-esteem. Many self-involved parents like when their child is needy and they can be the center of the child's longing. Witnessing their child's dependency makes them feel secure and in control. If the child goes along with this, the parents gain the power to completely control their child's emotional state. The idea of stepping back and asking yourself whether you really need your parents or whether they need you to need them might seem radical. But if it weren't for family roles and fantasies, your parents might not even be the kind of people you'd seek anything from. So consider whether your need for them is real or whether it might be a holdover from unmet childhood needs. Do they really have something you want now? This question is relevant to relating to any emotionally immature person, whether spouse, friend, or relative. You can get swept up in believing that you're desperate for a relationship with someone even when you actually don't enjoy the interactions the other person has to offer. You can get swept up into believing that you're desperate for a relationship with someone even when you actually don't enjoy the interactions the other person has to offer. I've done that before. I've definitely done that before. Okay. Next section is the summary. And then I'm going to stop there, and then we'll do chapter 10 next week, and then we'll be done with the book. Next week we're finishing this book, finally. Yeah. Okay. Summary. This chapter explored how it feels to break free from roles and expectations designed to please emotionally immature parents. Although you may have learned to reject yourself thanks to an overly critical inner voice that expects perfection, you can reclaim your true self and genuine thoughts and feelings regardless of other people's reactions. You can claim the freedom to express yourself and take action on your own behalf. You're free to extend compassion to yourself and even grieve what you've lost as a result of having emotionally immature parents. Even grieve what you've lost as a result of having emotionally immature parents. This is hitting super close to home, Sarante, because I've had to grieve so much as a result of having emotionally immature parents. I've had to grieve relationships. I've had to grieve expectations for my own life. I've had to grieve the idea of what my life was supposed to look like at this point. I've had to grieve opportunities I've lost because of my emotionally immature parents and them not supporting me. I've had to grieve so many losses. And I handle, the way that they describe all this, I handle my parents like that. I handle my parents like that because it's like, I gotta interact with you sometimes because of stuff and things, because I have siblings and stuff, but I do the most that I can to make sure I detach emotionally from them. And detaching emotionally means not talking. Detaching emotionally means I don't interact with you unless I absolutely have to. And like after this weekend, there's really not going to be a need anymore. And so I'm just thinking about like I have cried. I have not just cried, I've wailed. I have wailed from the pain of realizing all the things that I have lost due to having emotionally immature parents. I have felt physical pain in my body from grief. I'm moving a lot of energy right now, y'all. That's why I keep stopping, because I'm moving a lot of energy, and I've been moving a lot of energy today. I've spent about 75% of my day feeling like my heart was going to explode, and having my heart just feel like this all day. And this is the first time the whole day that it doesn't feel like that. And I've had to do I've literally had to do spiritual work on my lunch break, doing some this morning at work. I've been doing it all day, just moving this energy because I gotta make room. I gotta make room. I gotta make room for my blessings. I gotta make room for my blessings. I had to make room for my blessings. Ooh. This is a very difficult week. It's always a difficult week on Reading what Miss Taylor said. One of these days, y'all, my life is going to be stable and peaceful. And I'm going to be up here with y'all or on TV or something. And y'all going to be able to be like, I remember watching them old episodes of Reading what Miss Taylor said when they was stressed the fuck out. Fuck! Anyway, sorry to yell. You now know that your first job is your own self-care, including setting limits on how much you give, even to the point of suspending contact with your parents if necessary. You no longer have to exhaust yourself with excessive empathy for other people. In addition, you're likely to find that your relationship with your parents becomes more tolerable as you relinquish the need for their emotional acceptance. And as you shed your old family role, you can relate to your parents more honestly without needing them to change. In the next chapter, which is the final chapter of the book, we'll take a look at how you can use the maturity awareness approach to find more emotionally mature friends and partners. Oh, that's shit. Hey, what time is it? We're not starting that tonight. I'm about to go eat. My head hurt. Okay, but we about to get the tea on how to find emotionally mature friends and partners. Let's go. I'll also offer some pointers on developing new attitudes and values that will promote the possibility of more rewarding and reciprocal relationships in the future. Chapter 9 is done. We have one more chapter in the epilogue, and that's going to be freaking fantastic. I appreciate y'all being here tonight. Be kind to yourselves. Drink some water. Take a moment to just breathe. Slow down for a second and be still. I'm saying this all for myself. I appreciate y'all. I hope y'all have a great night. Be good.